Drop it.
And good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? All right, we're looking at the market. We had a market open, came on down, and then it bounced. All right. Morrow just did a game. Wow. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, so let's talk about this. All right. Morrow, I think I know what we're talking about here. Let's get into the charts here. All right, guys. So what happened here? Well, of course, market open. We have basically it's a no trade, right? And then we get that gray candle there, like, hey, buddy, chill out, right? Don't do anything. But I think what Morrow ended up doing was looking at the 200, seeing that that was possibly a play, and then jumping on in. Of course, we crossed Excel. Excel went from basically gray to green. And now you're looking at a nice 2.4 to 1. This candle took off, right? Morrow, good stuff, right? That's exactly what you did, right? Play by play, Morrow, that's what you did, right? It's because, guys, when we have rules, we can read the same thing, play it the same way. We understand what we're doing. Guys, remember, we talk about let the market choose a direction, we play the correction, and that's basically what happened here. Market open. There's the 935 candle. It's the 945 candle, which closed. And so now, well, the 940 that goes into the 945 candle, which closed, right? And so now it's like, hey, Gabe, look, I missed this. Do I chase this? The answer is no, we're not going to chase this. Now, what I want to do with you guys, for those who are not in Gabe trades, I want to share with you some interesting stats, and then I'm going to show you how you can improve your stats. Who's down for that? Hands up. Who's down for that? Right now, we're going to assume that every single one of you are trading MNQs because MNQs are MES, because many of you do not have the port size to trade the minis. It's just a fact. If you have a $10,000 account, you should not be trading minis. You should be trading micros. Okay, so this is actually kind of fun. What we're going to do here, I'm going to show you guys something. We're going to turn on our trend stats, and we're going to see the performance based on the strategy. And okay, so check this out, guys. This is wild. Okay, let me make it bigger. That's what she said, right? So Marl says it's easier on emotions when you follow the rules. Right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so here we go. Let's change the stats there. All right, cool. Now, let's go on over to MNQ. I want to make this point on MNQ because that's where most of you guys are hanging out at. MNQ. Okay. You guys ready? Who's ready? Who's ready? I'm open till we get more hands. I want to see excitement in the chat. Who's ready? Okay, guys. All right. Check this out. We can't argue with data. Can't argue with data. Okay. So going back to January 12th, January 13th, our system on MNQ has a 73.88% win rate. With bullish candles, meaning the number of candles typical in a bullish trade is 10. Right? That's the median. Now the average is 12. Now the median bearish candles is 9. The average is 13. Okay. Now the median bullish reward, median, okay, is 137. The average bullish reward is 263. Bearish is going to be bigger because Trump has opened his big ass mouth and just he wants to see the world burn. Right. And so the bearish reward is 235 median. average bearish 327. Okay. The median risk, $59. Average bullish risk, $69. Let's talk about that. I like 69. Who likes 69? Right? Now, hop a trader brought up a point. A win is considered a trade that hits 1% or more. Okay. So 73% of your trades, or almost 74, is going to hit 1% or more, or a 1-to-1. Okay. Now, when we really think about this, what is our risk? Now, we're using one MNQ. One MNQ. We're risking on average $70 a trade on a bullish trade setup to make 263. So, guys, that's a little over 3x. Your average bearish risk is going to be about $84 to make 327. So it's a little over a 4x, right? You guys see the stats there. Now, we're looking at the reward both sides. Okay. Winning trades, 181. Losing trades, 64. Okay. Very nice win rate there. But your bullish reward is 25,000. Your bearish reward is going to be 27,000. So what does that mean? That means that one NQ, right? You know what? Oh, Jesus Christ. See, we always got somebody who's making it more difficult. It is based on the close of the candle at the start of the trade design, right? So basically what this means, guys, right? You got to wait for candle close, right? And it's going to make you one MNQ. Since January, guys, it's going to make you over 52,000. Two MNQs. It's going to make you 100K. Now, for someone who says, well, I'm not as efficient as these stats here, right? I'm not as efficient as that, Gabe. One MNQ, I'm not going to be able to make 50,000, between going bullish and bearish. Well, if you're 50% efficient, then do no more than 2 MNQs that'll get you closer to there, right? If you feel like you're more than 50% inefficient, then no more than 3 MNQs will get you there. In fact, what we found is, and when we looked at these stats, we found that the girls of the Discord, this is going to be Han Solo, this is going to be Anita, this is going to be Miss Money. Their win rates are very much a little bit more optimized, but they're doing well over 1%, right? And they're certainly on track. Okay. So those are the stats. But then over at Gabe Trades, we gave them something a little more optimal. Okay. We gave them something optimal. And then the stats improved significantly. Definitely worth the price of admission over at GabeTrades.com. The stats improved significantly because the indicators are optimized for that group. Cry all you want. I really don't care. All right. You guys are still making money. Okay. However, we can optimize it and we change it. I'm going to change a setting that the guys over at Gabe Trades understand. Now, here we go. When we optimize it, we get about $5,000 more out of MNQ. Now, the win rate goes down just a little bit on VWAP, right? But our average bullish or median bullish and our median bearish win rate or win amount goes higher. Thus, we're making more. We're making a good 10 to 15% more using the optimized version of what we do. Now, guys, this is bullish and then bearish. So then you have to think, all right, this is going to be a little over. Oh boy, what? 56,000? This is great. This is great here. Now, when we go to NQ, because I know everybody's asking, what about NQ? What NQ? And this is for the Brian Lewises, the Gerardos. This is for the big boys in the community, right? This is for the John Casciolas. What NQ is making you over $250,000, over $500,000, right? Total each way. So your bearish reward on one NQ is going to be about 291,000. Your total bullish reward is going to be pretty close to 270,000. So $500,000 since January using one. And so this brings me to a point. It's something that we shared at Trade Camp. You guys are just trading too big because you lack the data, you lack the vision, you're in a rush, you want to make the most money, get the bragging rights, look like a great trader, prove to your wife, your family, your kids, whatever, that you could actually trade. And then, you know what? You realize, holy crap, I sized too big, and this next trade in the market takes away from me, right? This here's to prove a point that you just need one MNQ or one MES or whatever, and it's going to take you to the promised land with this system. There's no need to rush the process. Okay, no need to rush the process. So that's enough on that. It's beautiful, right? Just one, right? That's wild. With a 70% win rate, that means, guys, that you could effectively start the account, your own account, for $5K and bank on the fact that you're going to win 70% of the time with one MNQ. You're actually going to grow that thing. You're going to grow it considerably, right? So think about that. Right? So Ryan, I'm not going to answer your question. Hot potato, deal with Ryan right now. Overcomplicating, this is something that just really grinds my gears. Let's see here. Jesus. Ryan. Thank you, Hot Potato. Jesus Christ. Okay, so guys, we're going to go ahead and hide this. You guys come here to make money, right? And so let's go ahead and make money. Oh my God. All right, let's show the system at work. So guys, I'm actually going to, for most of you who have the Trade 1348 system, we're going to trade with the 1348 system. Guys who have the Game Trade system, your trend tracker is going to look slightly different. Okay, it's going to look slightly different. Also, with the trend stat indicator, guys, what we were able to do was also prove that you're not holding long enough. So what's the point of oversizing a trade if you can't hold long enough for a long, the duration of 9 candles? So 9 candles is about 45 minutes on the 5-minute, guys, to 50 minutes, maybe up to an hour. We saw an average of 12 candles, 13 candles, right? That's 65 minutes. So there's really no point in going in oversize if you're not even giving yourself a chance to submit to the system. This is something that we talked about over at Trade Camp. Probably the best Trade Camp ever. It's just going to get better, guys. So make sure you go ahead and DM me in the Discord if you want a secure receipt for special pricing. So that's pretty much it. No free rides, no nothing. Just go ahead and invest in yourself, change your damn life. Okay, so here we go. Trade design down. Why won't we take this? The system's telling us not to take it. Why? Because we're going against the trend. We're going against 200. Everyone's sitting there like, oh my God, we're making money. Okay, why am I leaving this, right? Well, the thing is that trend tracker stat is basically when trend tracker prints you a green bar there. When it prints you a green bar after a trade design. So guys, I need you to understand something. The trade design and the green bar does not have to happen simultaneously. You get a trade design. Now we use the trade design as an opportunity to prepare for the trade. And then we wait for a green bar close. We get the close there and we know, hey, on average, when we're going with the trend, we are good for about 9 candles. Okay. So here we are clearly showing you right here. Don't do anything. There's nothing to do here. Oh my God, Gabe, I'm leaving so much money on the table. And that right there is why traders lose their ass, because there is absolutely no self-control. You guys remember Friday? Everyone was jumping in on everything on Friday, right? Just getting chopped up. There was no self-control. I saw it. We were at trade camp. Everyone at trade camp saw it. Who at trade camp remember seeing it, right? And then we had that big move. That was the patient move. That was the move that if you kept your losses small, you would have gone ahead and murdered it. Murdered it. You would have gone ahead and murdered it. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and wait for the close. Anthony saw it too. Everybody saw it. Everybody saw it. So here we go. There's nothing to do here. Nothing to do here. Really nothing to do here. Okay. When you get this yellow line here on the STB line, that means get out. Right. So we knew right about here, when that line turned yellow, that we get out right here. Even though the system might have prompted us to get in, we were shown yellow here, right? So there was a level right here at 19603. Now, everyone says Friday was brutal. Friday was, see, what do you mean it was brutal? You guys want to break down on Friday? Let me show you something about Friday. Okay. Here we go. Let's get on over to Friday. Friday was not brutal. Let's break it down. You guys ready? You guys ready? Friday was not brutal. Let me show you. Friday, you got a trade design up that happened pre-market. We don't chase it here. We got a trade design down here at 955. It gave you gray. That's neutral. You're not doing anything here. We got a trade design up here. That's a very, very, very big candle. Okay, cool. But it was right at a level. It was right at a level. So you're playing defense here. This trade here to the downside is going against GT. So you're not taking it. So far, you've gotten in one trade. You've gotten in one trade, guys, so far with a level. So you see that level there after the candle closes on this one trade at 10:05. You're playing defense. Okay. Our system immediately, once you see that candle sort of kind of like retrace, we know that we don't need to hold this trade. More importantly, guys, it's probably wise to avoid trades that penetrate through the 200 because there's almost always a retest, right? Okay, so next trade here. This happens at 10:40. This should be trade number 2. Well, brings you all the way up to this level here. We're only in 2 trades. Only 2 trades actually mattered when we're following the rules. Okay? We have the trade design here alongside this green bar there. Going with the general trend, this was the only trade that made sense. This here was also the only trade that made sense. So you get the entry here, you get the close, you get the green bar here, right? You get a level there. You've got to play defense. So far, 1-2 trades, right? This trade might have got you. This trade might have helped you break even. And then this trade would have set you free. Okay. Friday was not brutal. If you guys are getting beat up by the market, you're certainly doing too much. You're certainly doing too much. So there's really no need to do so much, guys. We have the continuation of the day, right? Here, do we go down? Well, we didn't get a trade design down except for here, which happened in neutral territory, so we're not doing anything. Of course, it goes against you. Now we get something that goes green here. So green, all right, cool. It doesn't work out. All right, whatever. Until it does. I mean, it just does, right? But even if you got in, let's say here, you were told to get out here. That right there, that line. So you risk nothing. The only time it's brutal, guys, is when you're not listening and you're trying to do it yourself and you're trying to just have total disregard of when the STB line is telling you to get out, or disregard of your entries, or disregard of the system entirely. Stop inventing your own trades, guys. The only trades that matter are the trades on the system. And that's why, when we show you the stats, for some, I'd be like, holy hell, that can't be true. But it is, right? If you allow yourself to submit to the system, right, you'll make your money. So, I mean, guys, the system's not going to lie to you. We go back to this here. Trade design down, you get the bounce off the 200 and GT. So if you were going to take this trade, of course, you're taking it defensively, right? Although we have trend trackers saying don't do it. Don't do it right here, right? Now, the reason why are we telling you not to do it is because we understand that most traders have you can master a system from A to Z. It doesn't matter until you master your emotions, until you master the greed, until you master, you have to come into this. Even my own brother, we were having a conversation yesterday. He was like, I'm excited. I'm like, no, you're not. I want to slap the excitement off his face. Like, no, you're not excited for Monday. You're here to perform, do a job. There's nothing to be excited about. It's a job, right? It is much harder. It is much harder to have discipline, right? Especially when we're being tempted. We're being tempted all the time with just non-optimal trades. Okay. Yep, we wait for candle close. It's CJ, absolutely. We wait for that candle close. So, yeah, I mean, high risk setup, right? Now, when we look at this, we could say, all right, look, this trade happened here. We got a green notification here. We also have the level there. We have to respect that level, right? But in the same token, the system told you here and then here, both giving you yellow markers, both on the band and on the trend tracker to get out, right? And the beautiful thing about this is it isn't about the fact that you took the trade and didn't make the most money. It's the fact that it got you out before you got absolutely bent the fuck over. It got you out before you got bent over, period. So you have to respect that, guys. You have to respect what the system's telling you, always. It's not always about making money. In fact, yeah, students at trade camp learned something at trade camp, and it wasn't about making money. It was about not losing money. For a lot of them, their performances were limited by the fact that they were losing money. Of course, everybody loses money, but it's the amount of money that people allow themselves to lose versus the amount of money that they allow themselves to gain, which is just so freaking, it's backwards. It's just really, really wild. Now, one of the ways you can curb that and flip it to your benefit is to get enough repetitions to submit to the system. Obviously, we have the stats there that show you proof positive that the system works. And then you gotta get the reps to believe in it, but trade small. Trade small to get those reps. Okay. You got to trade small to get those reps. Now, unfortunately, most of you guys are in prop firms. So you don't have the privilege of getting your reps in, right? Because, I mean, let's be real. They're giving you shitty drawdowns, shitty rolls. They're giving you trailing stop losses, end of day drawdowns, trailing drawdowns. It's whatever. If you guys want to get good with any trading system, get good with the trading system first before you try to get good with a prop firm. Do not try to get good with the prop firm and use a trading system to get you there. It just really doesn't make any sense. But you that should you decide, fucking coffee, should you decide that this is the route you want to go, where you're going to go ahead and use the system to pass prop firms, I have to tell you, trust the system. It gives you an edge entirely. It gives you an edge. I mean, we could come back to this right here. We could see like, hey, you know, you either trade defensively and just go for this trade, or you just hands off on this and identify this is clearly not the setup for you. This is beautiful. Who would agree with me that this is absolutely beautiful? I want to see some hands here, because if you can't agree with me that this is beautiful, then I don't know. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and switch it up. I'm going to switch it up to the optimized version that is used over at Game Trades. And it's really not that much different. Really not that much different, but it does require you to use your STB line, right? Here we go. So it's far more advanced. It's more advanced. So you see here, it gets you all the way through till it doesn't. This one here, you get the yellow STB line, but you do not get the exit signal here, right? So technically, this thing is saying we're still bullish, right? This is the optimized version over at Game Trades. So it says technically we're still bullish. All right, cool. But you still got to submit to this because this happened first. So now what I'm waiting for is on my end for this to go bullish again. Okay. That's what I'm waiting for this to go bullish again. And then I will enter. Then I will enter the trade. Pretty simple here, right? And actually, let me make this bigger here too, because it's small. And let's make this large. Okay, guys, when we're telling you no trade zone, just believe it, right? What the system's been able to do is been able to take all the nerd shit of trading, right? All those nerds, and make it super simple, super layman. It's telling you no trade zone. Look at it. Everyone here, you know, for strict cash account where everybody asked me this question. It's you know, if you want to go cash and want to trade futures cash, make sure you fund the account with absolutely no more than you're okay with losing. Meaning you're okay with losing every single dollar. So if you put $5,000 in that account, make sure you're comfortable losing every single dollar. Why? Because there's a psychological component to it where if you're worried about that money, it creates duress. Okay. So if you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to put 5,000, but you're worried about that 5,000, that duress, the psychological component, is going to disrupt your feedback loop, right? Because a strong psychology and commitment to the system, right, allows the system to work efficiently mechanically, right? Now, when your psychology isn't there, the mechanics aren't there, and there's a constant feedback loop. So you have to be able to trade without duress. Uh, let's see here. The update to GT Legends, expand on how to use it. Let's see here. Well, I mean, in the update to GT Legends, you have one additional setting, and that's exclusive to game trades. So I'm not going to discuss that here. I'll discuss it in game trades, but I'm not going to discuss that here. Um, let's see. Let's see here. Catch up to the chat here. All right, so Omni wants me to expand on entering on the 2 minute. Okay. You enter on a 2 minute only if you can't get in on the 5. And that is a last ditch. That is a last ditch approach, right? So me personally, I'm going to wait as long as possible to get in on the 5. But let me show you. You, you see the trend is down on the 5, and of course we don't have agreement. There's no agreement, right? We want to we want to be able to say on a, let's say, a trending day like this. Let's go back. Let's say something like this, right? Where you're like, damn it, I missed it right here, right? Let's go ahead and let's mark this entry. I'm going to mark it here. That's marked. Now we're going to find it on the 2 minute. I want to show you something, all right? So go to the 2 minute. And let's make this smaller. All right. So this might not be a good illustration here, but ideally, let's say you couldn't get it on 5. Maybe there's a 5 minute entry. Maybe you're getting in here, right? Where the band right here, you see this here? Maybe you're getting in right here. And then taking it all the way up. Where the band and STB and everything once again agrees on the 2 minute. Okay. That makes sense. You see it here on a 2 minute. You get that retracement here. And then it's like, oh, it came right back up. All right, we're in. That's it. We're in. We're good. Okay. Let's get back on over to the 5 minute here. A lot of nothing going on right now. Who's forcing trades right now? With a whole lot of nothing going on right now. Who's forcing trades? listening and learning, sitting on hands. Everyone's sitting on hands. There's really nothing to do. Patience is going to pay. I mean, I was silent. It was awkward silence. I'm doing 100 things at once. But one thing for me, right? When I'm in a situation like this where the market is doing absolutely nothing, instead of looking at the chart and inventing trades, I go ahead, I pause this trade for now, this alert, right? But if I go ahead and set the alert, which can be found again over at Game Trades, go ahead, make sure your instrument is selected. We choose trend tracker. We choose high probability setup. And then we choose once per bar or once per bar close, right? For those that work, once per bar close is probably what you're waiting for. Once per bar is for someone who, has time on their hands, maybe not reporting to an office, maybe working from home, because it's going to give you the ding, right? It's going to give you something to constantly look at. Okay. So for those who, have a tendency of inventing trades or creating trades, we have something there in alert where, you come back to the chart only when it matters. All right. So you are sitting on your hands and you are ignoring all the, I guess, um, temptations of jumping into a trade. All right. Because right here, guys, I promise you, people are tempted to jump into this trade. It's like, oh, it's consolidation. It's right here. GT's going up, right? Maybe they got RSI. Maybe they're looking at MACD. They're like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go along with this. And sure, okay, fine. That might be the case, but it might not always be the case. And so, guys, what we're doing here is we're not trading for what might happen. We're trading for what we know will happen. And what we know happens when we follow the system is that we win 70% of the time. We're not following the system. So therefore, if we enter a trade here and we're not following the system, we have a data point that has not been calculated yet. We have a data point that has not been calculated yet. It has not been included in the win rate. And therefore, if it's not been included in the win rate, it shall not be a play we take. Simple enough, right? Patience. Patience. Gotta have it. Gotta love it. Patience always pays. 100%. Patience always pays. Cheers. 1 second, guys. There you go. Let's set up there. There you go. So nothing to do here, guys. Really nothing to do. We're gonna wait here patiently and see if there's something for us to do. Nothing to do. I gotta love the system. Poor boys who went ahead and invented this trade to the upside. What happened to you? What to you? Come on, let's talk about it. You guys want to talk about it? If you went ahead and invented that trade to the upside, let's talk about it. Come on. Jeez. Oh my God. let's talk about this. There is nothing to do here. Yet we insist that there's something to do there. Right here. There's really nothing. We tell you here that there's nothing to do. You got somebody who's going to go ahead and chase a candle. They get wet all the way down here. Right? And then it moves back this way. So they're like, let me go ahead and chase this once again. Death by 1,000 cuts. Who's experienced that? Who remembers that feeling of death by 1,000 cuts? Who remembers that feeling? I got a lot of people. She's close. She's getting a lot out. Pablo. ES is going up. Let's go ahead and look at ES. Let's look at ES here. Okay. ES. Okay, so this is the problem, right? Someone just said ES is going up, but we don't. There's no trade here. There's nothing to do here. It's going up, but you got gray candles on ES. We're telling you not to touch it for now. Why are we telling you guys? All right, guys, listen. The system's designed to get you into the best trends, not the best candles. Throughout the whole day, you could get a ton of candles, best candles, right? That pop, and everyone's like, oh, I didn't make money on this candle. And then, oh, wait. Play proven here. Play proven here, right? Let's go ahead and look at NQ. Play proven here as well. Just came right back against you. Okay. So what we're trying to do is get in the best trend relative to the trade design, right? So trade design, trend, go forward here. There's nothing to do here. None. If you switch over to ES, all you got is a gray candle over at ES, doing nothing for you. More of the same. More of the same. It's that's ES. What the gray candles telling you not to trade. And of course, trend tracker telling you not to trade. By the way, we did not cover ES as far as like trend stats, right? For those who trade ES, let's go ahead and cover that for a second. Okay, you guys want to see that? Because everyone goes ahead and says, well, I'm going to trade MNQ because MNQ or NQ because it makes more money. Well, listen, no. But probably let me show you guys. ES here wins 74% of the time with the setup, the optimized setup, I believe. Let me switch this to just the general setup here. Okay. General setup here. You're winning 72% of the time on ES. With just one ES, you could make pretty much what, 300,000 since January 2nd in total. Or if you were just playing bullish, 147. If we were playing just bearish, 152,000. This is Just one ES contract. Right? There's ES. Now, how does that make you feel, right? You know, like everyone's trades MQ or NQ. You're like, I make more money, and you already do make more money faster. You also lose money faster. You know, some people are just like, well, I can't stomach ES, right? And the way it moves is so slow. Well, this is why we have these alerts on Trend Tracker, right? So you come to ES at the most actionable moment. But what ES is going to do is it's going to, you know, minimize your risk. It's going to minimize your risk. Gotta love ES. All right. Let me show you guys something. You guys want to see something interesting? With ES, you're risking about $300 a trade, right? Your median risk. This is NQ. You're risking twice as much here. You're risking twice as much here with NQ. Let's go to ES here. ES, you cut your risk in half. Oh, hi. You cut your risk in half, guys. So, what's that telling me? If you guys want better control of your risk to reward, especially if you're tracking your stats with TradeZella, change your instrument. Because what's happening here is psychologically, you're getting beat up by your drawdown. Now, if this was MES here, guys, let's change this to MES. This is your average drawdown, $32, $37 with one MES. And you can still make 30 grand. Come on, man. This is stupid. Okay, so the system told us we're going down. Man, see, I hate trading and streaming at the same time. This is not cool. Right, this is MES. We don't have it going down right now, but NQ, I believe we do. NQ, yes, right? So with NQ, I'm just going to go ahead and sell. I'm selling here, right? This is NQ. I'm going to zoom on in. Let's zoom. Up $225, $330, 285, 345. Guys, you imagine this? That the market opened at 9:30 and we waited an hour to get a trade that could make me $500. Wait. $230, $450. Granted, I'm in NQ, right? MNQ, you'd be at $480, $58, etc. Right? And where are we going? Well, we saw this wick here, right? We could come down here, right? We can do that. So I'm going to set my buy right there. And I'm going to trust the system until it tells me not to, which waiting on a candle close here. Now, we had a decent entry and there was profit here. I have to trust this. I have to trust it and make money. That's the only way I'm gonna make money, is if I trust this, okay? So maybe my entry wasn't perfect. I only went in with 3 NQs, not my customary 20. There's only 3, right? Would I have gotten in sooner if I was actually trading? Yeah, probably would have. This is so damn hard. Trying to teach and trade at the same time because I make my money trading, not on YouTube. I don't make my money on YouTube, and I don't make my money through J1348. Make my money through here. So now we have enough evidence right here that this is a no-go, right? Neutral, it went away. I came in too late, did not secure the bag. We were up a couple of $100 and potentially would have been up several thousand if I would have gotten in sooner. So here, there's more evidence that we're bearish than we are bullish. I haven't gotten anything from the STB line. Once I get yellow on this STB line, I have to close the trade. 100%. Okay. So maybe the market's giving me an opportunity to reposition, add to my trade here, right? Maybe. Still not yellow there. I'm going to take this down. I'm going to hold it down. Whatever I do is I'm just going to add more here, right? Because the trend is down. So the market gave me an opportunity to dollar cost average. Again, I'm not even fully allocated. This is only 6 contracts for me, right? So I'm staying small to see if this trade pans out. I'm going to trust that it is to the downside once again, because the S2B line did not print yellow. Okay. So guys, let's see what happens. Here we go. And if anybody wants to know what the stats are in MES, just divide the number by 10. The stats that I showed you, just divided by 10. Okay, so here, I got the yellow line there. I have to close this trade. I have to close this trade, right? It presented itself, we get across on that yellow line, right? Now, if I was in this trade coming on down, I would set my stop right here at that yellow line once I see it, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait to see if that candle touches that yellow line once again. If it does, then I exit the trade, right? Because that yellow line is, there you go, we're done. I have to close that trade. I do. Now, we have a lot of choppiness here. I only came in with 6 contracts. We broke the line. There's nothing to do. The market's saying there's really nothing to do here. I only lost $2,000, guys. For those who are trading with them in Q, you know, you have scaled to your max allocation or max allowable allocation. So if your max allowable allocation was 3, you were only able to scale up to 3, right? But you started with 1. So hopefully your losses are mitigated that way. You know, I don't want anybody to go ahead and try to fill my shoes. I have to play my game and trade my trade based on the size of my portfolio. But I want you guys to limit yourselves to what your max allocation can be. Okay. As you can see here, even the system's telling me based on, you know, $20,000 risk, I can do about 15 contracts, which I did not. I could go ahead and do 15 right now and just really have zero discretion. And because of that, because I traded so small, I could go ahead and do 15 and make up the difference really fast because I traded so small, right? We can make up the difference really fast because I traded small. Now, I'm not highlighting the power of the system. I'm highlighting the power of trading small and allowing yourself, right, to trade big. So that was $4,200 right there. That was it. I could only come back from a deficit if I'm trading small. That's the point I'm trying to illustrate. You guys make sense of that? So if you went ahead, right, and you used one contract and you were wrong, it's easier to come back from that deficit when you have an idea that you might be right. You make your money back by sizing it larger, sizing their actual allocation. Does that make sense? Right? Because it's all about risk to reward, right? So I went in and traded small, and I said, okay, well, there's nothing for me to do. I, Look at guys, I'm gonna be frank with you, right? There's some times I'm on a live stream and I lose money to make a point, right? But at the end of the day, I feel like I do too much to illustrate the system. I do way too much, right? And so it was an honest conversation I was having with Hopper over the weekend where it's like, I got to do for me too. So if you guys see me doing something that's above your pay grade, you have no obligation to follow, but I could have an obligation to make money because YouTube isn't paying my bills and neither is straight 3048. My lifestyle is far more expensive than what owning one business and doing YouTube can do, right? It's just far more expensive than that. So when you see me take trades, you got to understand that I'm seeing things differently and I do things differently, and I'm trading my pay grade. You guys, there's a reason why I'm telling you to risk 1%, right? And be patient and make your money that way. We have the stats that tell you that you can do exactly that. Okay. Really, really, really simple. I have an obligation to make money. I got to feed my family, period. Right. And if teaching makes me miss a trade and it's 10:40, like, damn, I got to be done by 11. But you know what I'm going to do. Okay. So this is this is just something for you guys to understand, right? Like, the system designed for people to trade safe. Do not trade like me. Please don't. Yeah. Montrese, thank you for defending me there. I'm really on a different level. I know it sounds arrogant and cocky, but when you've gone, almost 2 decades doing this and still doing this and still having to stay power, like, yeah, I'm the LeBron James of trading. No, 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 I kid you not. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Jesus. Exactly. Yeah, potato. And you guys see what happened there? Did I get greedy there? I know exactly where I had to get out. Hello? You see that there? I didn't say, hey, I'm going to log. I said, I'm going to make my money back right here. No goal other than to just make my money back. That was it. Hold on, hold on. This is actually a great example as to how you would trade when it's neutral. But guys, when this thing is neutral here or gray, you have absolutely no expectations. When this down here is telling you there's no trade, you have absolutely no expectations. 2K loss, and later post a 50K profit. No, sir. Yeah, that's my risk to reward generally is about, I want to say is like 2 to 1, generally. Let's see. Tum, 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 tum. Oh man. I mean, let's do this. Huh. Nothing here on the 2 either. That's pretty wild, right, guys? You went down to 2, there's nothing there for you. Jeez. There's nothing there. That's not force trades. That's not force trades. All right. So I think we're done here, man. Oh, John is saying, John, have a good one, man. What happened to that beautiful Dodgers that I used to wear? I only wore it once. That's because the Yankees lost to the Dodgers in the World Series. That's the only time. I'm wearing a Yankee hat, man. Screw that. Guys, okay, so what I want everyone to do, this is the challenge in the Discord. When we get a trade design, if we get a trade design up, and then we get Trend Tracker telling us to go, I want people to start posting that graphic in the Discord. And then take the trade, right? And then post how much you made taking that trade. Can we do that? I don't care if you guys are going to use your real account or your paper account. I just want you guys to get the good reps and see what this looks like and see that you don't have to force anything. So I forced that trade. But I did. I gotta make money, man. I was not greedy with that trade at all. Anyways, guys, I'm signing out. Be patient. Make your money. If you got less than $5,000 in your account, you have no reason to be aggressive. If you're trading a prop firm, you have no right to be aggressive. So, all right, guys, we're done. Peace.